Hello, everyone. Welcome to another lesson at English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine. So, Marco, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're going to be talking about a popular topic all over the world, and that is smoking.
Well, not so popular in the States right now, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing. In every country in the world now, they are becoming more strict on smoking and where you can smoke. So it's becoming very difficult for smokers nowadays.
Well, it's a good reason to want to quit.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today is quitting smoking.
Well, before we get going, we do have a really important phrase that we should preview in today's vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
All right, so on vocabulary preview, we're going to take a look at this word, pack of smokes.
Pack of smokes.
A pack of smokes.
So smokes is a word for cigarettes. It's the same thing, smokes or cigarettes.
Right, but a pack is, like 20 cigarettes.
It's a box of cigarettes. You buy them in a pack. You don't just buy one at a time. So, again, the phrase is pack of smokes.
Pack of smokes. So why don't we listen to our dialogue for the first time and see what's going on with this smoker.
It smells like an ashtray in here.
Hi, honey. What's wrong? Why do you have that look on your face?
What's wrong? I thought we agreed you were going to quit smoking.
No. I said I was going to cut down, which is very different. You can't just expect me to go cold turkey overnight.
Look, there are other ways to quit. You can try the nicotine patch or nicotine chewing gum. We spend a fortune on cigarettes every month. And now laws are cracking down and not allowing smoking in any public place. It's not like you can just light up like before.
I know. I really am trying, but I don't have the willpower to just quit. I can't fight with the urge to reach for my pack of smokes in the morning with coffee or after lunch. Please understand.
Fine, I want a divorce.
Sorry, I just smoked a pack of cigarettes.
You do smoke, don't you?
Well, we'll talk about that later.
All right, so it is a little bit extreme, though. I mean, he's divorcing her because she won't quit.
Well, some people really are health conscious and are afraid of the negative side of smoking, which has a lot of health side effects.
Yeah. Well, as he was complaining about all the negative effects and the negative aspects of smoking, he did mention, both of them mentioned a lot of great words and phrases, so why don't we take a look at them now in Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
Well, this first word is a word that's very important for any smoker who goes to a bar or a restaurant and needs to put the ash somewhere, right? So when you smoke, there's some ash, there's some messy, dirty stuff, and you need an ashtray to collect it.
An ashtray.
So an ashtray is something that's usually round or square, and you put it on a table, and it's just very helpful to keep the house clean or a restaurant clean. So if you're in a restaurant, you say, hey, can I have an ashtray, please?
Mm-hmm. So the residue or the stuff that when you're smoking, it comes out the gray, I don't know, like dust. It's called ash.
Right. And this is a tray. But the complaint here is, it smells like an ashtray in here. That means it smells really, really bad in here.
Yeah, it smells like cigarettes.
Yeah, so that word again is ashtray.
Ashtray. All right. Well, and the guy was complaining and he said, well, I thought you were going to quit smoking. And she said, no. I said I was going to cut down.
She says it's very different from quitting smoking. So, Marco, maybe we should talk about how cutting down and quitting are different.
All right. So if I say I'm going to cut down on smoking, it's just I'm going to smoke less.
Okay, so let's take an example. I smoke 10 cigarettes a day, but I want to cut down. How many should I smoke later? Maybe
like 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Instead of quitting. So if you quit smoking, that would mean 0.
0 cigarettes. No smoking anymore.
Right.
All right. So you can also cut down on carbs, like carbohydrates. So some people who cut down on carbs eat less bread. They don't eat any pasta. So these are really good ways of trying to talk about dieting as well as smoking.
Right. And I think we have a couple of examples of other ways we can use this phrase cut down. So let's listen to them now.
Example 1.
Our company has decided to cut down our workload, so from now on, we leave at 3 p.m. every Friday.
Example 2.
You should really cut down on the amount of salt you eat. It's not good for you.
Example 3.
My doctor told me I need to cut down on fatty foods because of my heart condition.
And when you want to smoke a cigarette, you have to do something first with some fire. So we call this lighting up.
To light up.
So lighting up, it doesn't mean turning on the light.
No.
It actually means using a lighter or some fire to start your cigarette.
Right, so you want to light up with the lighter, matches, or some sort of fire.
The husband says, it's not like you can just light up like before. That means it's not like you can just smoke like before. So
Right.
in some cases, light up means to smoke a cigarette. We're in a movie theater and someone lights a cigarette. And I say, oh, you can't light up in here.
Right, so you can't smoke in here.
You can't smoke in
It's
here.
another way of saying smoking. Very good. And she was explaining, how difficult it is, and she's trying to quit, but she said, I don't have the willpower to just quit.
Ooh, willpower. So this is an important word.
Willpower.
Willpower. You think of the main part of this word is will. That means the desire to do something. You want to do something.
So if I have willpower, I have strong willpower, what am I saying?
You're saying that you can make a decision and you can follow your decision. So I decide not to eat cake. I have very strong willpower, so I never eat cake. Mm-hmm. If I don't have strong willpower, maybe I sometimes
cake.
secretly eat cake in the middle of the night from my refrigerator.
So that happens, right? Sometimes you don't have strong enough willpower, so you kind of eat a little bit of cake.
Yeah,
when
so-
nobody's watching.
Exactly. And you can have willpower about lots of different things. So this is a great word, again, to use when you're talking about dieting or smoking or drinking.
Any type of maybe temptation.
Exactly.
All right. And well, she said she had this urge to reach for her pack of smokes.
Ooh, urge is another good one. And it's very similar to willpower, but an urge is kind of like a physical feeling that makes you want to do something.
So you have like this strong desire.
So I have the urge to go swimming today. I don't know why, but I really want to.
All right. You have an urge. Interesting word.
Pregnant women often have these kinds of things too. I have the urge to do something. We also call them cravings.
Oh, cravings or urge to do something. All right, interesting. So we've taken a look at these 5 great words, and I think we should listen to our dialogue again. We're going to slow it down just a little bit, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
It smells like an ashtray in here.
Hi, honey. What's wrong? Why do you have that look on your face?
What's wrong? I thought we agreed that you were going to quit smoking.
No, I said I was going to cut down, which is very different. You can't just expect me to go cold turkey overnight.
Look, there are other ways to quit. You can try the nicotine patch or nicotine chewing gum. We spend a fortune on cigarettes every month, and now laws are cracking down and not allowing smoking in any public place. It's not like you can just light up like before.
I know. I really am trying, but I don't have the willpower to just quit. I can't fight with the urge to reach for my pack of smokes in the morning with coffee or after lunch. Please understand.
Fine, I want a divorce.
And we are back. So we have a great part of our show where we like to talk about some phrases that help you attain fluency. That means sounding like a native speaker of English. And today's phrases are wonderful.
All right, so let's take a look at them now in Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
So on Fluency Builder today, let's take a look at 2 different phrases, and let's start with the first one. She mentioned something about going cold turkey overnight. What is that phrase, cold turkey?
Now, this is a very strange phrase. Okay, so first of all, why would a turkey be cold? They have lots of feathers. And second of all, what does it have to do with cigarettes?
Right, so if I say I'm going cold turkey, what is that?
So just take this as a phrase. Don't think about the actual words because they won't make sense in this context. What we're talking about is quitting smoking entirely. You're not going to cut down. It means today I'm not going to smoke at all, and I'm never going to smoke again. That means never ever will I smoke another cigarette. So it's cold turkey.
So if I go cold turkey means I stop doing something immediately and suddenly and forever.
Entirely.
All right.
So you can use this phrase for different habits, different things that you do, like drinking, for example, or cutting down on sugar. But generally, we just say this about cigarettes.
So it's mostly related to smoking.
Yeah, so
Going cold turkey.
some people like to smoke less, like 1 cigarette a day or 1 cigarette a week. But going cold turkey is supposed to be the hardest.
Right. Okay. Going cold turkey. All right. And well, he was explaining the different negative aspects of smoking. He said, well, they spend a fortune on cigarettes every month. And he said, laws are cracking down. So if the laws are cracking down, what is he trying to say there?
Well, this is actually a very interesting point because in America right now, it's very hard to smoke in public places. So this means that the government is trying to stop people from smoking. So they say, no more smoking in public places, no more smoking in restaurants, no more smoking in bars. And so this means they're cracking down. They're making it harder to do something.
So they are becoming more strict. I think for this phrase, we should listen to a couple of more examples just to make sure we understand it.
Example 1.
The police are cracking down on drunk driving in our city.
Example 2.
Our school has really started to crack down on tardiness.
Example 3.
The president has passed a law that will crack down on possession of illegal substances.
All right. So the government is cracking down. Laws are cracking down.
Yeah, exactly. So this is an important one because you read this in the newspapers as well about certain laws and police action.
All right. Great. So I think it's time for us to listen to this dialogue for one last time. And then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this vice.
It smells like an ashtray in here.
Hi, honey. What's wrong? Why do you have that look on your face?
What's wrong? I thought we agreed you were going to quit smoking.
No. I said I was going to cut down, which is very different. You can't just expect me to go cold turkey overnight.
Look, there are other ways to quit. You can try the nicotine patch or nicotine chewing gum. We spend a fortune on cigarettes every month. And now laws are cracking down and not allowing smoking in any public place. It's not like you can just light up like before.
I know. I really am trying, but I don't have the willpower to just quit. I can't fight with the urge to reach for my pack of smokes in the morning with coffee or after lunch. Please understand.
Fine, I want a divorce.
So, do you have a problem with this vice, as you call it? Are you a smoker?
I'm really not. I'm the type of person that could maybe smoke socially, like if we go out to a bar with drinks, a social smoker like they call it, right?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
But not really. You're a habitual smoker, right?
Right. Well, I'm trying to cut down. So as a habitual smoker, I often smoked every day. Sometimes I smoked a lot and sometimes I smoke less. But right now I'm in a period where I'm mostly quit.
Okay, almost.
Yeah, well, I haven't smoked in a while, and when I do, it's just 1 cigarette.
Now, it is interesting because, like we mentioned, laws are cracking down on where you can smoke, but also taxes and cigarettes are becoming much more expensive, right?
Absolutely, especially where I'm from in Chicago. It's easy to spend maybe $10 or $12 on 1 pack of cigarettes.
On a pack of cigarettes. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So, and you have people that can't help smoking 1 or 2 packs a day.
Yeah.
So how much is that a month? It's just an amazing amount of money.
Thousands of dollars. Well, and I have to say, though, a lot of my friends who used to smoke in America have quit. So this is maybe working.
The whole thing of making cigarettes more
Taxing.
expensive.
Yeah, making them much more expensive.
Now, another interesting thing, and what I was reading recently, is that, those warnings that come on cigarette packs that says, smoking kills, smoking causes cancer. Actually, a study has proven that it's not effective, that people don't mind it or even worry about the cautions on the cigarette packages.
Well, as a smoker, I could say that, yeah, you generally, if you're going to smoke a cigarette, don't look at the label that much. You just, you throw it in your bag and you forget about it.
But it's actually gotten to the point where people choose the cigarette pack based on the picture. So it's like, oh yeah, give me the one with the black lungs, or give me that one.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's not really working. I guess we're gonna have to find other ways to make people more conscious about this vice.
We should.
But come to our website at englishpod.com. Tell us what you think about this vice, smoking. Is it good? Is it bad? Are you a habitual smoker or just a social smoker?
What is smoking? Smoking is a habit that many people have. Some people smoke every day, while others smoke only sometimes. There are also people who try smoking once and never do it again. But what exactly is smoking? How does it work? What happens when someone smokes? In this part, we will discuss smoking in detail. Smoking has been around for hundreds of years. In the past, people smoked tobacco in pipes and cigars. Today, most people smoke cigarettes. Some people also use electronic cigarettes, which are called e-cigarettes or vapes. These are different from normal cigarettes, but they still contain nicotine. What is smoking? Smoking means burning a substance and inhaling the smoke into the lungs. The most common substance that people smoke is tobacco. Tobacco comes from a plant, and it is dried and rolled into cigarettes. When a person lights a cigarette, the tobacco burns, and they breathe in the smoke. When people smoke, they take in many chemicals. Some of these chemicals can be very harmful to the body. Smoking does not only affect the person who smokes, it can also affect the people around them. The smoke from a cigarette spreads in the air, and other people may breathe it in. This is called passive smoking or secondhand smoking. How do people smoke? There are different ways that people smoke. The most common way is by using cigarettes. A cigarette is a small roll of tobacco wrapped in paper. A person lights one end and breathes in the smoke. Some people also use cigars. A cigar is bigger and thicker than a cigarette. It has more tobacco and produces more smoke. Some people believe cigars are more expensive and special, so they smoke them on special occasions. Another way of smoking is using a pipe. In the past, many people used pipes to smoke tobacco. The tobacco is put inside the bowl of the pipe, and the person inhales the smoke through a long tube. Today, pipes are less common, but some people still use them. Some people also use hookahs or shishas. A hookah is a water pipe that is used for smoking flavored tobacco. It is popular in some cultures, and people often smoke it in groups. However, smoking a hookah can be just as harmful as smoking cigarettes. In recent years, electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, or vapes have become more popular. These devices do not burn tobacco. Instead, they heat a liquid that turns into vapor. People inhale the vapor in the same way they inhale cigarette smoke. Many people think vaping is safer than smoking, but it still contains nicotine and other chemicals. What happens when a person smokes? When a person smokes a cigarette, the smoke goes into their lungs. From the lungs, the chemicals in the smoke enter the bloodstream. This means the chemicals travel through the whole body. Nicotine, the addictive substance in tobacco, affects the brain. It makes the person feel calm or happy for a short time. However, this feeling does not last long. After some time, the person wants to smoke again. This is why smoking is addictive. The more a person smokes, the more their body gets used to nicotine. If they try to stop smoking, they may feel uncomfortable or stressed. This is called nicotine withdrawal. Many people find it very difficult to quit smoking because of this. Does smoking only affect the smoker? Many people think that smoking only affects the person who smokes. But this is not true. Smoking can also harm the people around the smoker. When a person smokes, the smoke spreads in the air. If another person breathes this smoke, it can harm their health too. This is called secondhand smoking or passive smoking. Secondhand smoke can be especially dangerous for children, pregnant women, and older people. Even if a person does not smoke, breathing in smoke from others can still cause serious health problems. Why do people start smoking? Smoking is a habit that millions of people around the world develop at some point in their lives. Some people start smoking when they are young, while others begin later in life. Even though people know that smoking is harmful, many still choose to start. It is interesting to understand what leads people to take that first cigarette and why they continue. There are many different influences that encourage people to smoke. Sometimes it happens because of the environment they live in, the people they spend time with, or the situations they face. The first time a person smokes is often not because they truly want to, but because of a moment, a situation, or a feeling that pushes them to try it. One of the most common reasons a person smokes for the first time is exposure. If someone grows up in a house where family members smoke, they might see it as a normal activity. They watch their parents, older siblings, or relatives lighting cigarettes every day, and after a while, it does not seem strange or bad. It becomes something usual, like drinking tea or having a meal. When they get older, they might feel that smoking is just another part of life, and they do not question it. Sometimes, friends play a big role in influencing a person to smoke. If a person is in a group where most people smoke, they might feel pressure to join in. No one wants to feel left out or different, so they pick up a cigarette to fit in. They may not even like the taste or feeling of smoking at first, but they continue because it helps them feel included. Over time, what started as an occasional activity becomes a habit, and eventually an addiction. Media and advertisements have also played a role in encouraging people to smoke. In the past, movies, TV shows, and magazines often showed famous actors, musicians, or models smoking. These people looked stylish, confident, and successful. Many young people believed that smoking was a sign of maturity and independence. When they saw their favorite celebrity smoking, they thought it made them look strong and interesting. Even today, although smoking advertisements are banned in many countries, people still see characters in films smoking, making it seem exciting or attractive. Another reason people start smoking is the belief that it helps with stress. Life can be difficult, and everyone faces problems. Some people go through hard times at work, at school, or in their personal lives. When they see others smoking to relax, they think it might help them too. After smoking, they may feel calm for a short time, but this feeling does not last. In reality, smoking does not remove stress. It only creates a cycle where the person feels they need to smoke more to feel better. Curiosity also leads many people to try smoking. Sometimes, a person simply wonders what it feels like to smoke. They see other people doing it and start to think, what does it taste like? How does it make people feel? This curiosity can be strong enough to make them take a cigarette and try it, just once. However, for many, that one cigarette turns into another, and soon, they find themselves smoking regularly. Some people start smoking because they believe it will help them lose weight. There is a common belief that smoking reduces hunger, making people eat less. For some, this seems like an easy way to stay slim. They think that instead of eating snacks, they can just smoke a cigarette. While it may be true that nicotine affects appetite, this is not a healthy way to control weight. Smoking damages the body in many ways and can cause serious health problems. In some cultures and societies, smoking is connected to traditions and social events. In certain places, people smoke when they meet friends, when they celebrate, or even when they discuss important topics. Some communities see smoking as a symbol of respect or hospitality. If a person grows up in such an environment, they may feel that smoking is just a natural part of life. They might not even think about whether it is good or bad. They simply accept it as something normal. There are also people who start smoking because they believe it helps them concentrate. Some students and professionals think that smoking makes them more focused, especially when they're studying or working on something important. They might see older students or colleagues smoking during breaks and assume that it improves their ability to think clearly. This belief makes them try smoking, hoping it will give them the same benefits. In some cases, people smoke because they want to rebel. They want to feel independent, or break the rules set by parents, teachers, or society. Teenagers, in particular, often feel the need to prove that they can make their own choices. If smoking is seen as something forbidden, it becomes even more tempting. They light a cigarette to show that they are in control of their lives. What starts as an act of rebellion can quickly become a habit that is hard to break. Many people do not think about the long-term effects of smoking when they start. They assume that they can stop anytime they want. They believe that smoking a few cigarettes will not cause harm. However, over time, their body gets used to nicotine and quitting becomes difficult. What began as an occasional activity turns into a daily routine. Before they realize it, they are addicted. One important thing to understand is that smoking does not bring any real benefit. The things that make people start fitting in, curiosity, stress relief, or rebellion are only temporary feelings. The risks and dangers of smoking, however, are very real and long-lasting. Once a person starts smoking, it can be very difficult to stop. The effects of smoking. Smoking is not just a simple habit. It is something that affects the body, mind, and even the people around the smoker. When a person smokes, they might not notice the effects immediately. At first, smoking may feel like a small activity that helps them relax or fit in with friends. However, over time, smoking starts to change many things in life. It affects health, relationships, daily activities, and even the environment. The effects of smoking can be divided into different areas. The most serious impact is on health. Every time a person smokes, harmful chemicals enter their body. These chemicals affect different parts of the body in different ways. The lungs, heart, and even the skin start to change. Breathing becomes more difficult, and the body becomes weaker. Many smokers experience coughing, shortness of breath, and tiredness. These are just the early signs. As time goes on, more serious health problems can develop. The lungs are one of the first organs to be affected. A healthy person breathes easily, and their lungs work smoothly. But smoking damages the lungs, making it harder to breathe. Smokers often feel like they are out of breath after simple activities like walking or climbing stairs. They also cough more because their lungs try to clear out the harmful substances from cigarettes. Over time, these problems can turn into serious diseases. The heart is another organ that suffers because of smoking. A strong heart is necessary for a healthy life, but smoking weakens it. The chemicals in cigarettes make the heart work harder, increasing the risk of heart disease. Smokers are more likely to have high blood pressure, heart attacks, and other heart problems. Even young smokers can develop heart-related issues if they continue smoking for a long time. Smoking also affects the skin. Many people do not realize this, but cigarettes can change how a person looks. Smokers often develop wrinkles earlier than non-smokers. Their skin becomes dull, dry, and loses its natural glow. This is because smoking reduces the amount of oxygen that reaches the skin. As a result, smokers may look older than they really are. Another serious effect of smoking is on the immune system. The immune system is responsible for protecting the body from illness. A strong immune system fights infections and helps the body heal quickly. However, smoking weakens this defense. Smokers get sick more often and take longer to recover from common illnesses like colds and flu. Wounds and cuts also heal more slowly because smoking reduces blood flow. The negative effects of smoking do not stop with the person who smokes. People around smokers are also affected, even if they do not smoke themselves. This is called second-hand smoke. When a person smokes, the smoke spreads into the air. Family members, friends, and even strangers nearby breathe in this smoke, which can harm their health. Babies, children, and elderly people are especially at risk. Pregnant women who smoke can also harm their unborn babies. Smoking during pregnancy increases the chances of health problems for the baby, such as low birth weight or breathing difficulties. Even after birth, babies who live in a house with a smoker are more likely to have health problems like asthma or frequent colds. The environment also suffers because of smoking. Cigarette smoke pollutes the air, and cigarette butts create waste. Many smokers throw cigarette butts on the ground, in parks, or on the streets. These small pieces of trash take years to break down and often end up in rivers, lakes, and oceans. They harm animals and the environment. Forest fires are sometimes started by people who throw away burning cigarettes carelessly. Smoking does not only affect health and the environment, it also has financial effects. Cigarettes are expensive. Many smokers spend a large amount of money on cigarettes every month. If a person smokes for many years, they spend thousands of dollars on cigarettes. This money could be used for better things, buying healthy food, traveling, education, or saving for the future. Many smokers realize too late that smoking has taken a lot from them, not just their health, but also their money. Smoking also affects personal and social relationships. Many non-smokers do not like being around smokers because of the smell of cigarettes. The smell stays on clothes, hair, and even in homes and cars. Some people find it unpleasant, and this can create distance in relationships. Smokers may also find it difficult to be in places where smoking is not allowed, such as restaurants, offices, or public transportation. This can limit their activities and make them feel uncomfortable in social situations. For those who have been smoking for a long time, quitting may seem difficult. However, many people have successfully quit smoking and improved their lives. The body begins to heal as soon as a person stops smoking. Breathing becomes easier, energy levels increase, and the risk of serious diseases decreases. Skin starts to look healthier, and the sense of taste and smell improves. The money saved from not buying cigarettes can be used for better things. Quitting smoking is not easy, but it is possible with determination and support. Many people find it helpful to set a goal, seek support from family and friends, or use tools like nicotine patches or counseling. Some people quit immediately, while others do it gradually. Every small step toward quitting is a step toward a healthier life. Conclusion: smoking affects every part of life, health, relationships, finances, and the environment. While it may seem like a small habit at first, its long-term effects are serious. Many people wish they had never started smoking, but the good news is that quitting is always possible. Every person has the power to make the choice to live a healthier life. Understanding the effects of smoking helps people make better decisions. For English learners, reading and discussing topics like this also helps improve language skills while learning about important issues. Smoking is a challenge, but with knowledge and effort, anyone can overcome it.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Informal of saying cigarette.
Stogie.
A receptacle for tobacco ashes and cigarettes and cigars.
Ashtray.
The end of the cigarette which contains the filter and is placed into the mouth to smoke.
Butt.
Reduce the amount taken or used.
Cut down.
A solid, sticky substance that remains when tobacco is burned. It accumulates in the lungs of smokers and is considered carcinogenic.
Tar.
Immediate, complete withdrawal from something.
Cold turkey.
A mechanical device for lighting a cigarette, cigar, or pipe.
Lighter.
A patch that slowly releases nicotine into the body.
Nicotine patch.
A thin strip of wood or cardboard tipped with a chemical that ignites when scraped against a rough or specially treated surface.
Match.
Gum that slowly releases nicotine into the body.
Nicotine chewing gum.
Smoking a cigarette once, a puff. Share a cigarette with someone.
Drag.
To act more forcefully, to regulate or repress.
Crack down.
To start smoking a cigarette.
Light up.
The strength of mind to carry out a decision.
Willpower.
A strong impulse, inner drive, or yearning.
Urge.
A box of cigarettes.
Pack of smokes.
Let's try that faster. A receptacle for tobacco ashes and cigarettes and cigars.
Ashtray.
Informal of saying cigarette.
Stogie.
To start smoking a cigarette.
Light up.
A strong impulse, inner drive, or yearning.
Urge.
A box of cigarettes.
Pack of smokes.
A solid, sticky substance that remains when tobacco is burned. It accumulates in the lungs of smokers and is considered carcinogenic.
Tar.
The strength of mind to carry out a decision.
Willpower.
The end of the cigarette, which contains the filter and is placed into the mouth to smoke.
Butt.
Immediate, complete withdrawal from something.
Cold turkey.
A patch that slowly releases nicotine into the body.
Nicotine patch.
Reduce the amount taken or used.
Cut down.
Smoking a cigarette once, a puff. Share a cigarette with someone.
Drag.
A thin strip of wood or cardboard tipped with a chemical that ignites when scraped against a rough or specially treated surface.
Match.
A mechanical device for lighting a cigarette, cigar, or pipe.
Lighter.
To act more forcefully, to regulate or repress.
Crack down.
Gum that slowly releases nicotine into the body.
Nicotine chewing gum.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Crack down. The police is cracking down on drunk driving in our city. Crack down. The president has passed a law that will crack down on possession of illegal substances. Crack down. Our school has really started to crack down on tardiness. Cut down. You should really cut down on the amount of salt you eat. It's not good for you. Cut down. Our company has decided to cut down our workload, so from now on we leave at 3 p.m. every Friday. Cut down. My doctor told me I need to cut down on fatty foods because of my heart condition. Light up. Honey, you can't light up here. We are in a non-smoking area. Light up. John is addicted to smoking. Anytime and anywhere he has a chance,
He lights up immediately. Light up. The government is making it more difficult to light up with all these anti-smoking laws. Willpower. I don't have the willpower to stick to my diet. It's so hard. Willpower. Kathy is a workaholic. She needs to gather more willpower and refuse to work extra hours. Willpower. Willpower and discipline are essential to any person that wants to succeed in life. Urge. I was so angry at him that I felt a sudden urge to hit him. Urge. Last night, my wife got an uncontrollable urge to smoke every hour. It was weird. Urge. When Carol was pregnant, she once had an urge to eat a bacon and tuna sandwich. It was disgusting.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're looking at another one of our lessons for English of the past decades. And this time it's the 1990s.
Well, the 1990s is a little easier for most of us to remember.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit more recent. We're going to be looking at a lot of language that is still used today. Most of these words and phrases are still used today, so they're going to be very useful, and you're going to sound a lot more native.
A lot cooler as well, huh?
Right. So before we get started with this lesson, why don't we take a look at vocabulary preview?
Vocabulary preview.
We have two words we're going to hear in the dialogue. Now, the first one is a mall.
A mall.
M-A-L-L, mall.
All right, so a mall is basically short for shopping mall.
And a shopping mall is a big building with many stores inside.
Right, so it's like a shopping center. And our last word for vocabulary preview is gang.
The gang.
The gang.
Okay, so a gang is a group of people, right?
Yeah, it's a group of people. You can call your friends the gang. We're going to go out with the gang tonight.
Yep. Now, we sometimes hear this word and it has a negative meaning, right?
Right, like street gangs.
Yeah, so people who fight and deal drugs and all that sort of stuff.
Right, so it can have a negative and a positive meaning, but it just depends on how you use it.
Yeah, but in the dialogue, we'll hear it with a positive meaning.
Right. So that's all the words we have for vocabulary preview. Let's listen to this cool and hip dialogue from the 1990s, and we'll come back later and explain some words.
Hey, Four Eyes. What's up, man? How have you been?
Not bad. Just went to the mall and picked up some junk. Check out my new Adidas.
Those are dope. You are gonna be getting mad props from the gang, man. Anyways, have you seen Betty lately?
Dude, don't even go there. That girl started tripping because I went to the movies with Veronica the other day. I was like, look, you knew how I was before you got with me.
That's right. You are such a player, man. Dude, there's Mad Max. Let's go say hi.
Max, what's up? Are you okay? You look like you just saw a ghost.
I got an F in English class. My life is over.
Dude, get over it. You need to lay off the books for a while and have some fun. Come on, let's bounce.
Where are we going? Oh, crap. My dad is gonna go postal when he finds out about this.
I'm gonna open the can of whoop-ass on you if you don't come with me right now.
Okay. Gee.
Well, it sounds like this guy's got some problems at school, huh?
Yeah, he got an F on his paper, but you always can count on your friends to try and cheer you up by doing something.
Yeah, but they use some really great phrases and vocabulary words, so why don't we look at those now in Language Takeaway?
Language takeaway.
All right, on Language Takeaway, we're going to be looking at 5 words. And, well, let's start with the first one.
So the guy was talking about his really cool new shoes, his new Adidas, right? Mm-hmm. And his friend said, "Those are dope."
Dope.
Dope.
Okay, so it's pretty easy to understand when something is dope.
It's really awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Right, it's great. So that's dope.
Mm-hmm. And it's an adjective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his friend said those are dope, and he said you're going to be getting mad props from the gang.
Okay, so mad props.
Mad props.
We can divide this word in two. So let's take a look at the first part, mad.
Mad.
So we understand that mad is angry, right?
Yeah, but it can also mean a lot,
Or
right?
like amazing.
Or really.
So if I say you have mad skills.
You're really good at something.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say she has a mad amount of shoes.
All right. So he's going to get mad props. Now props is like respect or compliments.
Yeah. So his shoes are so cool that he's going to get a lot of respect or a lot of compliments from his friends.
Exactly. Mad props.
Mad props.
So they started talking about girls, and he mentioned that this girl started tripping.
Trippin'.
So
to trip.
Right. As you notice, it's trippin'. It doesn't have the G at the end, which isn't really grammatically correct, but that's kind of the way it's pronounced.
Yeah, we would never say the G.
Right. So if somebody is trippin',
they're getting really upset. They're getting really angry.
Right. They're causing trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we listen to a couple of examples of how we could use trippin' for different situations?
Example 1.
Leanne was tripping because I got dirt on her car.
Example 2.
Even though I apologized for calling her fat, Jeannie was tripping all night.
Example 3.
He sent me 43 text messages and called me about 20 times. That guy is tripping over me.
Okay, so that's pretty clear. Trippin'.
All right. Now moving on to our next word. They wanted to go somewhere, and he said, "Come on, let's bounce."
Let's bounce.
Let's bounce.
I'm going to bounce.
Now, bounce basically means let's leave.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
But we might be more familiar with this word as in like a ball, right? A ball bounces off the floor.
Exactly. So I guess it's kind of the same. You kind of bounce off the floor and leave that place.
Yeah.
Let's bounce.
Okay, so for our final word, now this guy who got a bad mark on his paper, he was nervous about what his dad would say, right?
Right.
Because his dad was going to go postal.
Mm-hmm. He said, my dad is gonna go postal.
To go postal.
Now, if you go postal, it means you go crazy.
Yeah, you really freak out.
You get very angry.
Yeah, like really angry.
This word comes from the 90s because during a time it was very common in the United States that postal workers, mailmen, were going a little bit crazy, and they started shooting people and delivering some strange packages.
Well, I guess so people who work in the post office maybe don't have the most exciting jobs, and that drives them a little crazy.
Exactly. But now they have a term named after them. All right, so why don't we listen to our dialogue for the second time? We're going to slow it down a little bit, and then we'll come back.
Hey, Four Eyes. What's up, man? How have you been?
Not bad. Just went to the mall and picked up some junk. Check out my new Adidas.
Those are dope. You are gonna be getting mad props from the gang, man. Anyways, have you seen Betty lately?
Dude, don't even go there. That girl started tripping because I went to the movies with Veronica the other day. I was like, look, you knew how I was before you got with me.
That's right. You are such a player, man. Dude, there's Mad Max. Let's go say hi.
Max was, are you okay? You look like you just saw a ghost.
I got an F in English class. My life is over.
Dude, get over it. You need to lay off the books for a while and have some fun. Come on, let's bounce.
Where are we going? Oh, crap. My dad's gonna go postal when he finds out about this.
I'm gonna open the can of whoop-ass on you if you don't come with me right now.
Okay. Jeez.
Okay, so I think that was a little easier to understand. You know, we've got a lot of pretty strange words and phrases, some interesting slang.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at this slang now, so let's get started with Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
Okay, so the guy with the new shoes, he asked his friends, have you seen Betty lately, right?
Right.
And his friend replied, don't even go there.
Right. He was like, dude, don't even go there.
Don't even go there.
So what does he mean when he says, don't even go there?
He means don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Don't even touch that subject.
Don't even mention it.
Right. So if somebody wants to talk about a topic that you think is sensitive or you don't want to talk about, so say, hey, don't even go there.
So Marco, what do you think about the new tax law?
Don't even go there. I don't even want to talk about politics.
Okay, so I think that's a really actually quite helpful phrase to avoid talking about an uncomfortable subject.
Right. So he said, don't even go there. And he started talking about the girl and she was tripping. And then he said something interesting. He said, I was like, look, you knew how I was before you got with me.
Yeah, I really like this phrase. Now, I want to focus on the first part. I was like.
I was like.
I was like.
Now, you might hear a lot of native English speakers use these three words before they start telling you what they said. Mm-hmm. So it's like saying, I said, or I told him.
Yep. So this actually is really common, especially with people under the age of 30. So why don't we hear a few more examples of how it's used now?
Example 1.
This guy caused a car accident and I was like, you idiot. You can kill people by driving like that.
Example 2.
And then I was like, I hate you. And she was all like, I hate you more.
Example 3.
I told the teacher that I didn't finish my homework and he was like, I'll see you after school.
So if you're telling a story or you're maybe talking to somebody and you want to explain what you said, you can say, I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she was like, what? So you can have an entire dialogue based with I was like, she was like, we were like.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I was like, it's super, super useful. So now our next word. Now they saw their friend who got the bad mark in school and the guy said, dude, get over it.
Get over it.
Get over it.
So if somebody tells you to get over it.
Stop worrying about it.
Okay. Or
stop thinking about it.
All right. So if somebody is sad because maybe his girlfriend broke up with him, you would say,
get over it.
Yeah, stop thinking about it. Let it go. It's in the past.
Yeah, and you commonly use this for when somebody is upset about a small thing, something they shouldn't worry about.
Mm-hmm. Get over it.
Yep. Now, why don't we go on to our final word? At the end of the dialogue, they said, I'm going to open a can of whoop-ass.
Okay, so to open a can of whoop-ass on somebody.
To open a can of whoop-ass.
So again, let's break this down before we explain it.
Okay, I think we have to take one step back here. To whoop someone's ass is to beat them up, right?
Right.
To punch them and hurt them.
Right, so to whoop somebody's ass.
Mm-hmm.
So if I open a can of whoop-ass, what does that mean?
It means you're going to beat them up.
So it's just a funny, very informal way of saying, like, in this can, I'm going to open it and I'm going to start hitting you or something like that.
Some sort of small man is going to jump out of the can and start hitting you.
Exactly. But it's never literal. It's not like you're actually going to beat somebody up. It's just kind of
it's kind of a joke.
Yeah, it's an empty threat.
Yeah.
All right, so some really interesting words and phrases in this dialogue. I think we should listen to it for the last time, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about this great decade.
Hey, Four Eyes. What's up, man? How have you been?
Not bad. Just went to the mall and picked up some junk. Check out my new Adidas.
Those are dope. You are gonna be getting mad props from the gang, man. Anyways, have you seen Betty lately?
Dude, don't even go there. That girl started tripping because I went to the movies with Veronica the other day. I was like, look, you knew how I was before you got with me.
That's right. You are such a player, man. Dude, there's Mad Max. Let's go say hi.
Max, what's up? Are you okay? You look like you just saw a ghost.
I got an F in English class. My life is over.
Dude, get over it. You need to lay off the books for a while and have some fun. Come on, let's bounce.
Where are we going? Oh crap. My dad is gonna go postal when he finds out about this.
I'm gonna open the can of whoop-ass on you if you don't come with me right now.
Okay. Jeez.
Well, Marco, in the dialogue, I heard one of the guys say, "What's up?" But he said it in a really strange way, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He said, "What's up?"
Okay, so what's up with that?
So in the 90s, it was popular instead of saying "what's up," you would just kind of double the S and just say "what's up." And then it became very famous with a TV commercial for a certain beer.
And actually, I remember this commercial during the Super Bowl. They had this big commercial where everyone was saying "what's up" in this really strange way, right?
It's still used today informally between friends. You'll go ahead, "Hey, what's up?" and "what's up?"
Yeah, and
so you'll use it.
Yeah, so that commercial made it actually quite cool and famous to talk like that.
Actually, in Spanish Pod, they have a show called "¿Qué pasa?", which is like the translation of "what's up?"
Oh,
and
right.
They start each show with like saying "¿Qué pasa?", but it's exactly the same. So maybe it will become popular in Spanish.
Maybe, but I guess only...
Time will tell.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so really cool stuff. And as we heard, typical music from the 90s. And another interesting thing was the nicknames. Four Eyes, Mad Max, very popular among young kids.
Mm-hmm. So remember, if you have any questions about this language or anything else about this lesson, come to our website at englishpod.com.
Right, you can leave all your questions and comments there, and we hope to see you guys there.
So thanks for listening, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Recognition, informal.
Mad props.
Slang way of saying I'm the best and more.
All that in a bag of chips.
Being agitated, upset.
Tripping.
Wearing gold or precious stones.
Bling bling.
Informal of saying let's go.
Bounce.
Something is cool, it's great.
The bomb.
To act violently or aggressively.
Go postal.
Expression used to say my mistake or I'm sorry.
My bad.
An informal way to introduce a piece of dialogue.
I was like.
That sounds good to me. I agree.
I'm down with that.
What's up?
What's up?
Let's try that faster. Slang way of saying I'm the best and more.
All that in a bag of chips.
Wearing gold or precious stones.
Bling bling.
To act violently or aggressively.
Go postal.
Informal of saying let's go.
Bounce.
What's up?
What's up?
Something is cool. It's great.
The bomb.
That sounds good to me. I agree.
I'm down with that.
An informal way to introduce a piece of dialogue.
I was like,
Recognition. Informal.
mad props.
Expression used to say my mistake or I'm sorry.
My bad.
Being agitated. Upset.
Tripping.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Mad props. Mad props to Christopher for that burger he made. It was amazing. Mad props. You have to give mad props to the creator of this site. It looks great. Mad props. I got mad props for the speech I gave yesterday. Everyone was impressed. I was like, this guy caused a car accident, and I was like, you idiot. You can kill people by driving like that. I was like, and then I was like, I hate you. And she was all like, I hate you more. I was like, I told the teacher that I didn't finish my homework, and he was like, I'll see you after school. Bounce. Come on, let's bounce. I have to be home soon. Bounce. Alright, guys, I have to bounce. I'll see you later. Bounce. I am getting a bit tired of this party. Let's bounce. Tripping. Leanne was tripping because I got dirt in her car. Tripping. Even though I apologized for calling her fat, Jeannie was tripping all night. Tripping. He sent me 43 text messages and called me about 20 times. That guy is tripping over me. Go postal. I was so angry at work with the new workload, I was afraid I'd go postal. Go postal. Don't tease Carl right now. He might go postal. Go postal. My ex-girlfriend went postal on me when I broke up with her.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very dramatic intermediate level lesson for you.
That's right. Today we're going to take a look at how a court works, for example, in the United States. So you see that in movies and TV shows a lot, you know, the judge and all that.
That's right. Many of you have seen the movie The Firm or 12 Angry Men. These are classics in, courtroom drama, as we say. So today we're in a courtroom, and there are many characters who are trying to determine if this person is innocent or guilty. So let's take a listen and find out what's going on.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client, Robert Malone, has been accused of a crime he did not commit. The prosecution has accused my client of being a pickpocket. I know we have heard the testimony of many people here today. People who claimed the defendant, my client, stole their wallets. I feel sorry for these victims. I really do. But my client is innocent. Let's look at the facts. Number one, these so-called witnesses did not actually see the defendant steal anything. Number two, when the police stopped him, he did not have any of the stolen wallets. There is no evidence. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you to think carefully before giving your verdict. Look at the facts. Look at the evidence. My client is innocent.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor. Our verdict is not guilty.
Thank you so much. You were great. Thank you for all your hard work. You're welcome, Robert. I knew you were innocent, so my job was easy. Take care of yourself, okay? Thanks once again. Hey, where's my wallet?
All right, we're back. So you probably heard a lot of technical words that are specifically related to the courtroom, to lawyers, and the laws. So why don't we take a look at some of those now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
The first language takeaway we're looking at today is all about people. So people you will find in a courtroom. Who is the first person on our list, Marco?
So the top person would be the judge.
The judge.
Now, you didn't really see this word judge in the dialogue, right?
You did hear, though, the phrase, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
So, Your Honor.
So that's how you talk to a judge. You always add Your Honor before it or something.
That's
like
right. So, we say Mr. President when we're talking to Barack Obama. But if we're talking to a judge, he's a special person in American society. So we call him or her Your Honor.
Your Honor. Okay.
All right. Your Honor, the judge. That's our first person.
Okay.
Who else do we have?
So we have the judge, and now we have a group of 12 people who will ultimately decide if the person is guilty or not.
That's right. So these people are normal. They come from all different parts of society, and they will decide what to do with this person. Is he guilty or is she innocent? This group is called the jury.
Okay. So the jury is a group of normal citizens who will listen to both sides of the story and will then decide if the person committed the crime or didn't commit the crime.
That's right, a jury. And the big question is, who's fighting? We have two sides, someone who's upset and someone who is defending themselves. The person who is upset, this is the prosecution.
Okay, so the prosecution has a group of lawyers that are called the prosecutors, right?
That's right.
And they're trying to prove that that person committed the crime.
For example, I say that Marco burned down my house. I go to court, I say, I am the prosecution. I want him to pay me for my house. So I'm the prosecution.
Okay, so you're trying to not only prove that I committed the crime, but also trying to get me to pay for the damage that I caused.
Exactly. So in this case, the prosecution says, this man stole my wallet. He's a pickpocket. And who's the pickpocket? Or maybe the pickpocket. Who's the other side of this?
The defendant.
Defendant. Think about the word here. To defend is to stand up for yourself, to protect yourself.
Right.
So the defendant says, listen, no, that's not true. I am not a pickpocket.
I didn't do that.
So we have the prosecution and the defense. Okay? And the person who might be guilty, the person who did the thing or didn't do the thing, is called the defendant.
Okay. So in your example again about the crime that maybe I burnt your house down or I didn't, I would be the defendant and my lawyers would constitute my defense.
Yeah, they are your defense. Okay?
Okay.
So very technical words, but the important thing to remember here is defendant.
All right. Good. So now we have one key element that is also a person. We have the witness.
All right, so the basic idea, like you said, is we have to tell a story. My story is that you burned down my house. And you say, no, I didn't. Prove it. I say, I can. Someone saw you with a lighter.
Okay.
And so this person is my witness. That means that he or she saw what happened. So someone who sees a crime is a witness to that crime.
Okay, very good. So a lot of people are in the courtroom. A lot of things are happening. So I think we should listen to the dialogue again. And we'll be back to look at some more words on Language Takeaway Part 2.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client, Robert Malone, has been accused of a crime he did not commit. The prosecution has accused my client of being a pickpocket. I know we have heard the testimony of many people here today. People who claim the defendant, my client, stole their wallets. I feel sorry for these victims. I really do. But my client is innocent. Let's look at the facts. Number one, these so-called witnesses did not actually see the defendant steal anything. Number two, when the police stopped him, he did not have any of the stolen wallets. There is no evidence. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you to think carefully before giving your verdict. Look at the facts. Look at the evidence. My client is innocent.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor. Our verdict is not guilty.
Thank you so much. You were great. Thank you for all your hard work. You're welcome, Robert. I knew you were innocent, so my job was easy. Take care of yourself, okay? Thanks once again. Hey, where's my wallet?
I love it when we do this. So many words, so much language to take away.
That's right. So now we're going to take a look at the second part of language takeaway, where we have another set of 4 words that we want to take a look at.
Language takeaway.
All right, the first is actually 2 words. We have 2 opposites, okay? So you said earlier, the jury has to make a decision. The jury has to decide, is the defendant innocent or guilty?
Okay.
Okay, these are 2 important adjectives. Innocent, what does this mean?
So if he is innocent, that means he did not commit the crime. He is not responsible for what happened. He did not steal the wallets.
Okay, so we often say babies are so innocent.
Right.
They can't do anything.
They didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So guilty would be the opposite.
That's right. So usually when someone is guilty, they're sad, they feel bad, you want them to pay you.
And they go to jail.
Yeah, in bad situations, they go to jail. If you burn down my house, of course you're going to go to jail.
Right.
All right, so guilty means you did a crime. You did a bad thing.
So we talked about the prosecution and the defense of the defendant. And what happens is they also present some key elements that will prove if the person is innocent or guilty. And those elements are called evidence.
That's right. So back to this idea, we tell a story. Maybe a witness can help us tell our story. But as you say, evidence is stuff. It's things. So in the case of the house, I could say you have matches and you smell like smoke and oil. This is evidence for me to use to show that you are guilty.
Right.
So in this case, do we have any evidence? There's no evidence, says the defendant.
Right.
All right, so evidence is proof.
It's
It's
proof.
physical proof.
Yeah, and most of the times when you see movies or TV shows, they will find I don't know, like maybe a fingerprint. That's evidence, or somebody's glasses.
A cell phone.
Exactly.
All right, so evidence. This is very important when you want to build a case. Finally, at the end of a trial, we have a verdict. Now, what is a verdict?
So a verdict is a final decision or a conclusion in which the jury says, yeah, the person is guilty, or he's not guilty, he's innocent. So we use this word usually to reach a verdict. The jury reaches a verdict.
Now, it's interesting why we say to reach, because a jury is not just one person. A jury is many people. And so these people have to decide together. They have to argue. They have to make a conclusion that everyone agrees on. And this is to reach a conclusion, to reach a verdict, because they have to travel there. They have to go together and figure it out.
Right. That's very, very important. So the jury reaches a verdict.
And we did have one other phrase that's very interesting. It doesn't quite fit with the other ones. We heard this phrase from the defendant. The lawyer says, so these so-called witnesses didn't actually see anything. So what is so-called?
So he's being sarcastic when he uses this phrase, so-called, right? That's why even his tone changes, these so-called witnesses. So it's a way of expressing sarcasm. He's saying they say they are witnesses, but they're not really, because they didn't see anything.
Right, so so-called means you say that they are, but they're not really.
Right.
I could also say, your so-called lawyer thinks he can help you, but he can't.
Right.
That means, I don't think your lawyer is very good. I don't think he's a real lawyer.
Right. Or sometimes people say, my so-called friend stood me up last night.
Oh,
So
so it's not really a friend.
He's not really a friend. Exactly.
So-called. All right, that's another good one. Let's listen to this dialogue one more time. Really think about some of the words you heard today, and we'll be back in a moment.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client, Robert Malone, has been accused of a crime he did not commit. The prosecution has accused my client of being a pickpocket. I know we have heard the testimony of many people here today. People who claimed the defendant, my client, stole their wallets. I feel sorry for these victims. I really do. But my client is innocent. Let's look at the facts. Number one, these so-called witnesses did not actually see the defendant steal anything. Number two, when the police stopped him, he did not have any of the stolen wallets. There is no evidence. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I ask you to think carefully before giving your verdict. Look at the facts. Look at the evidence. My client is innocent.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor. Our verdict is not guilty.
Thank you so much. You were great. Thank you for all your hard work. You're welcome, Robert. I knew you were innocent, so my job was easy. Take care of yourself, okay? Thanks once again. Hey, where's my wallet?
All right, we're back. So now a very interesting situation with the courtroom dramas. And I've heard that all the people in the jury have to agree in order for them to reach a verdict, right? So if one of them is not convinced that the person is, for example, guilty, then they have to keep on deliberating. That's the word, right?
That's right. So basically, the jury is always alone in a room. Maybe they have a guard, but they're not supposed to talk to journalists or friends of the defendant or anyone because their decision is supposed to be pure. And so they talk, and sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Everyone agrees this person is guilty or if this person is innocent. But sometimes they don't agree, and it can be 1 day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month trying to decide what to do. I remember in the O.J. Simpson case, the jury took a long time to figure out what they were going to do.
And now, we said that the jury are common citizens, they're normal people. So what happens in their jobs, like if they can't go to work because they're doing this?
Well, in America, this job is called jury duty. And so someone will send you a letter, and they say, listen, you need to come do jury duty. And you help be a part of the jury. And your job, they can't make you come because this is a service for the government. And
so it's above everything else.
It's above. You get your normal pay. There's no problem. You just don't work.
Okay. So they can't fire you if you're in jury duty for like 5 days or a month or whatever.
No, they can't. That's illegal.
Wow, that's really interesting. But a lot of people I've heard don't like to go to jury duty for some reason. Is it tedious?
No, it's probably very boring. I've never done it, but it's probably very boring.
I would imagine so. All right, well, that's a very interesting topic. I'm sure in your countries, laws are handled differently. Maybe you don't have a courtroom. Maybe you have, like in England, people wear wigs and black robes. So let us know how it works in your countries. We'll see everyone at our website, englishpod.com. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, you can leave those there as well.
See you on the website, and happy studies. Bye everyone.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Succeed in making the finding of a jury in a trial. Reach a verdict. Responsible for doing something bad. Guilty. A respectful title used to or of certain judges. Your Honor. A body of persons sworn to judge. Jury. To charge someone with a crime. Accuse of. To do something, usually a crime. Commit. The lawyers against the defendant. Prosecution. One who steals from pockets. Pickpocket. A declaration of truth or fact. Testimony. The person being sued or accused. Defendant. People affected by a painful or sad experience. Victim. Not guilty. Innocent. Refer to something that is not suitable. So-called. Something that shows the thing is true. Evidence. One who is called on to testify before a court. Witness.
Let's try that faster.
To do something, usually a crime. Commit. A body of persons sworn to judge. Jury. Refer to something that is not suitable. So-called. Responsible for doing something bad. Guilty. A declaration of truth or fact. Testimony. One who steals from pockets. Pickpocket. The lawyers against the defendant. Prosecution. Something that shows the thing is true. Evidence. To charge someone with a crime. Accuse of. One who is called on to testify before a court. Witness. The person being sued or accused. Defendant. Not guilty. Innocent. Succeed in making the finding of a jury in a trial. Reach a verdict. People affected by a painful or sad experience. Victim. A respectful title used to or of certain judges. Your Honor.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Accuse of. Martha accused me of stealing her boyfriend. Accuse of. This man is being accused with murder. Accuse of. The teacher accused the students of being lazy. Testimony. In your testimony, you stated that you were there at the moment of the crime. Testimony. The witness gave her testimony in court today. Testimony. The judge discarded her testimony since it was inaccurate. So-called. I have to go to my so-called job today. I hate it. So-called. I was betrayed by my so-called best friend. So-called. My so-called supervisor makes me do all the work while he is on the phone all day. Reach a verdict. The jury has reached a verdict and we find the defendant not guilty. Reach a verdict. We disagree with the verdict and will appeal to the court's decision today. Reach a verdict. The judge still hasn't reached a verdict in this case. Evidence. There is evidence of life on Mars. Evidence. The forensic scientists recollect and analyze evidence found at the scene of the crime. Evidence. There is no evidence that proves your theory.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to another great podcast here at English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be bringing you bad news.
That's right. Actually, what we're really going to be bringing you is language to talk about bad news.
Exactly. So maybe you have to give bad news to your boss, to your parents, I don't know, somebody, and we're going to be teaching you how to do this in English.
Well, obviously it's always difficult to tell somebody bad news, but in your second language, it's even harder. So we're going to try and help you today with some great phrases and vocabulary items.
We're not going to preview anything today. Let's go directly to our dialogue where we will be in a company and one of the employees is going to be giving bad news to his boss. So let's listen.
Now that we've been over the gory details of our disastrous first quarter, Ed, give us some good news. How are things looking for us in terms of sales this month?
Well, would you like the bad news first or the really bad news?
What? Ed, don't tell me you only have bad news.
Well, sir, our sales have dropped. No, plunged. 50% in the past month alone. We are currently overstocked and overstaffed, and our profits are falling fast. The market is in recession, and we have no way of moving our inventory or getting rid of our staff. If we consider redundancies, it would cost us a fortune because of the new regulations governing compensation packages. It's a real mess.
For crying out loud, how fast are we losing money?
How can I put this? Let's just say that at this pace, we will be filing for Chapter 11 in less than 3 months.
What? Jeez, how could this have happened? So what's the bad news?
Oh, that's the really bad news. Our suppliers suffered QC problems, and well, half of our production is faulty. We're going to have to recall all items sold in the last quarter, and the worst part, we're going to have to shoulder this cost.
Are you joking? Get the supplier on the line now. They have to assume the cost of this mess.
We tried that, sir. The factory has gone under, and the owner apparently has fled the country.
Oh, we're doomed.
There's some really good news, though.
Really? What?
I got offered a new job.
All right, it sounds like a pretty tough time for this company, doesn't it?
But good news for the employee, he won't be jobless.
Well, I guess he knows when to get out. But why don't we take a look at some of the language now in Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So in Language Takeaway today, we have 5 vocabulary items, and well, let's start with the first one.
All right, so the boss, he's talking about the gory details of our disastrous first quarter. So let's look at the phrase gory details.
All right, so gory details.
Gory details.
This sounds kind of strange. Gory details. It seems very scary.
Well, the word gory comes from gore, like blood and guts, right?
Exactly. That's why it sounds a little bit scary to me.
Yep. So gory details mean all the little details of a negative or shocking or bad situation.
Okay, so the gory details of the meeting, so all the nasty and negative stuff.
Or the gory detail, or you could say the newspaper reported all the gory details of the murder.
Okay, very good. So gory details. So the employee was talking about how bad the company was doing, and he mentioned this word redundancies.
Redundancies.
They are considering redundancies.
Okay, so redundancies, again, it's based on the word to be redundant.
All right, and that means?
To not be needed anymore.
Okay, so redundancies are basically firing people.
It's, well, laying people off. People that you don't need anymore, they are redundancies.
All right, so this is actually a British term, redundancies, to become redundant, because in American English, you would just say layoffs.
Yep.
Okay, very good.
All right, so moving on. They were talking about redundancies and maybe they should or shouldn't lay some people off, but one of the problems were the regulations governing compensation packages.
Okay, so regulations governing compensation packages.
Regulations governing something.
So we have a noun governing noun. Well, what does that mean?
All right, so I think it would help us to understand this a little better if we listen to some examples of this pattern, noun governing noun.
Example 1.
I don't agree with the regulations governing income taxes. People shouldn't have to give away their hard-earned money.
Example 2.
We need to protect the environment. Therefore, there will be new policies governing corporate levels of pollution starting next month.
Example 3.
The lack of regulations governing city transportation has led to many traffic accidents. Okay, great examples. And well, before we move on, this compensation packages, I guess it's all the things that the company gives you when they lay you off, right?
Right. Maybe a certain portion of your retirement benefits
And
or
like a month's pay,
Yeah.
etc.
Yep.
Okay, compensation packages. All right, so moving on to our next item on language takeaway, we have to shoulder the cost.
to shoulder the cost.
All right, so if I shoulder something,
You have to carry it.
I carry it.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a good one. So basically, it's the same as the shoulder, your body.
Yep.
So you carry this cost or you carry this responsibility.
Yep. So you might also hear shoulder the burden.
To shoulder the burden.
Yeah. So it just means to carry the responsibility.
Okay, to share it.
Yep.
All right, interesting. And we have one more word on language takeaway. And the factory has gone under.
To go under.
All right, to go under.
When something goes under, a company goes under, it goes bankrupt.
It goes bankrupt. So it's not working anymore.
That's right.
All right, so to go under. Great vocabulary items here on Language Takeaway today. It's time for us to move on to the next segment of our show where we're going to look at some phrases. So let's start now with Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
All right, so we've got some phrases that you can use when somebody's going to tell you some bad news, but also some phrases you can use to deliver bad news.
All right, so let's start with our first phrase.
So the boss is getting ready to prepare for this bad news, and he says, "Lay it on me."
He's like, okay, lay it on me.
Lay it on me.
So if I say this, lay it on me, I'm just saying, tell me.
Exactly.
So give me the bad news. Mm-hmm. All right, so lay it on me. Very informal, though.
Yeah, you're right. It is kind of informal. But our next phrase, the boss is hearing about all this bad news, and he says, "For crying out loud."
For crying out loud.
For crying out loud.
All right, so this is a very common phrase of frustration.
Yep.
Right? So why don't we listen to some examples to kind of understand how we use this phrase?
Example 1.
For crying out loud, when I tell you to have the report done by Wednesday, that means I expect it to be on my desk by the end of the day.
Example 2.
We've got to figure out a new marketing strategy for crying out loud.
Example 3.
For crying out loud, you just got your driving license and you already got in an accident?
So it kind of reminds me of "oh my god."
So you're frustrated. You're just saying this phrase as "oh my god" or something like this.
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, this is so annoying."
Exactly. For crying out loud.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to our third phrase. How can I put this?
How can I put this?
So the boss asked him a direct question and he said, well, how can I put this?
So we use this phrase when we want to say something maybe a little bit more indirectly.
Right, so you're looking for words of how you can make it softer or more polite. Maybe the truth or what you're about to say is a little bit strong, so you want to soften it up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you say, how can I put this? But then you have to complement it with, let's just say that.
Let's just say that.
Let's just say that.
So how do we use this phrase?
So, for example, somebody asks me, well, what do you mean? Why can't you come on vacation with us? Mm-hmm. And I would say, how can I put this? Let's just say that in 9 months you will hear the pitter-patter of little feet.
Okay, so your girlfriend's pregnant.
Exactly. So you're not saying, my girlfriend is pregnant.
You're giving like a metaphor.
A metaphor of what's going on. But you don't want to say it directly.
Yeah.
Right?
Another example, I might say, let's just say that Michael isn't doing a great job.
All right. So maybe there are very strong reasons or he's doing very, very poorly.
Right. But I'm just sort of not saying it exactly directly that he's doing bad.
Okay. Very good. So it's a phrase that you can actually use a lot and to be a little bit more polite or a little bit more indirect when you're giving somebody some bad news.
Exactly. Two nice sort of complimenting phrases for delivering bad news. And why don't we hear them one more time in the dialogue?
Now that we've been over the gory details of our disastrous first quarter, Ed, give us some good news. How are things looking for us in terms of sales this month?
Well, would you like the bad news first or the really bad news?
What? Ed, Don't tell me you only have bad news.
Well, sir, our sales have dropped. No, plunged. 50% in the past month alone. We are currently overstocked and overstaffed, and our profits are falling fast. The market is in recession, and we have no way of moving our inventory or getting rid of our staff. If we consider redundancies, it would cost us a fortune because of the new regulations governing compensation packages. It's a real mess.
You're crying out loud. How fast are we losing money?
How can I put this? Let's just say that at this pace, we will be filing for Chapter 11 in less than 3 months.
What? Jeez, how could this have happened? So what's the bad news?
Oh, that's the really bad news. Our suppliers suffered QC problems, and well, half of our production is faulty. We're going to have to recall all items sold in the last quarter, and the worst part, we're going to have to shoulder this cost.
Are you joking? Get the supplier on the line now. They have to assume the cost of this mess.
We tried that, sir. The factory has gone under, and the owner apparently has fled the country.
Oh, we're doomed.
There's some really good news, though.
Really? What?
I got offered a new job.
All right, great. So this topic of filing for Chapter 11 is actually very recent, very common now, because recently one of the biggest companies filed for Chapter 11 in the U.S.
Yeah, that's right. But I often get confused by the phrase to file for Chapter 11 versus to file for Chapter 13.
All right, so in the United States, the bankruptcy law has different chapters or different sections, right?
Yep.
And Chapter 11 is basically for companies that run out of money, that go bankrupt, so they have to declare themselves in bankruptcy.
Yep.
And so they file for Chapter 11.
But what about Chapter 13?
Chapter 13 is for people.
Ah, okay.
So people who have large debts, maybe with the car company or the telephone company, and they can't pay, they file for Chapter 13. They say, hey, I don't have money, I can't pay.
All right, and so I guess here it's kind of a metaphor again. You know, it's this phrase to file for Chapter 11 or Chapter 13, meaning bankruptcy.
Right.
And people will say personally that they're filing for Chapter 11.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right. So this is an interesting situation because if you file for bankruptcy in some countries, you can go to jail.
I read recently about this happening in Dubai, actually.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
there is prison for debts. In the U.S., you don't go to prison for debts.
I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that's difficult but very important. How to deal with bad news in English, especially in professional or serious situations. Whether it's job-related, financial, or personal, bad news is a part of life. But knowing how to express it clearly, calmly, and respectfully can make all the difference, not only in what you say, but in how people respond. Let's begin with a phrase that's often used when someone is trying to prepare you for bad news. How can I put this? This question doesn't need an answer. It's just a way of saying, I'm trying to find the right words. For example, someone might say, how can I put this? We didn't get the contract. It softens the message and shows that the speaker is trying to be careful and respectful. Another useful phrase is, let's just say that. This is often used to give a hint about something without saying it directly. For example, let's just say that the meeting didn't go the way we hoped. It allows the listener to understand that something bad happened, but without going into every painful detail. It's a very natural phrase in English, and one that's used to manage tone and emotion. Now let's look at how people deliver news about financial problems. If a company is struggling, someone might say, our profits have plunged this quarter. The word plunged means dropped suddenly and deeply. It's stronger than fell or went down. You can also say, sales have taken a big hit, or revenue is down across the board. These are common business expressions used to describe economic trouble. When a business is in serious danger, you might hear someone say, we may not survive this, or there's a risk we could go under. The phrase go under means to close permanently, often because of money problems. It's an informal but powerful way to say that a business may not continue. Here's another phrase that's important. We'll have to shoulder the cost. This means someone has to take financial responsibility, even if the situation is unfair. For example, if the partner leaves, we'll have to shoulder the cost ourselves. The word shoulder here is a verb that means to carry or accept responsibility. It's used a lot in business and news reports. In more serious cases, You may hear about redundancies, which is the British English word for layoffs. In American English, we usually say layoffs or job cuts. A manager might say, "Unfortunately, we're planning a round of redundancies," or "There will be staff reductions in the coming weeks." These are difficult sentences to say, and learning how to deliver them politely is an important skill. Sometimes people try to soften the bad news with humor or an idiom. They might say, "Well, that's a kick in the teeth," or "not the news we were hoping for." These phrases don't change the facts, but they help people feel a little less shocked. Another phrase is, "It is what it is," which means we can't change it, so we just have to deal with it. And finally, there's a phrase that shows frustration but is very common in Real English: "For crying out loud." This is not rude, but does show strong emotion. You might hear, "For crying out loud, this is the third delay this week." It's a way to express stress or disappointment in a natural, informal tone. Learning how to give and respond to bad news is one of the most important parts of mastering English for real life. Whether it's financial pressure, a missed opportunity, or a company crisis, using phrases like "how can I put this," "go under," "shoulder the cost," and "for crying out loud" helps you sound clear, respectful, and confident, even in tough situations. When you're on the receiving end of bad news, the way you respond matters just as much as the way the news is delivered. In English, we often use short, powerful phrases that show emotion, understanding, or even shock, but without sounding rude or unprofessional. Today, we're going to explore those phrases, and we'll also look at how to keep a conversation going when the topic is difficult or unexpected. Let's begin with a simple, very natural response. "Wow, I wasn't expecting that." This sentence works in almost any situation, from minor disappointments to major surprises. It's honest, respectful, and allows you to pause and process the news without overreacting. You could also say, "That's a lot to take in," or "that caught me off guard." These expressions are useful when you're trying to stay calm and thoughtful while your mind is still catching up with the message. Now, sometimes people react with a question, which helps them understand what went wrong. You might hear or say, "What happened?" or "Do we know why?" These short questions are direct, but not aggressive. They allow you to get more context without placing blame. Another polite question is there anything I can do? It shows empathy and support, especially if someone is dealing with a personal or professional loss. Let's also look at how people express disappointment without sounding negative. A very common phrase is, "That's unfortunate." It sounds formal, but it's useful when you want to be polite. You can also say, "That's tough," or "That's not easy to hear." These phrases show that you're being respectful to the speaker while still acknowledging the seriousness of the news. Now here's a cultural tip. In English-speaking workplaces, people often use understatement to deal with bad news. That means they choose softer words to keep emotions in control. For example, instead of saying, "That's terrible," they might say, "That's not ideal," or "It's a bit of setback." These phrases make the situation sound more manageable, which helps people stay calm and focused. You might also hear someone say, "We'll get through this," or "It's not the end of the world." These phrases are encouraging, and they're often used when someone is trying to lift the mood or keep the team motivated. Even if things are going badly, a phrase like, "Let's focus on what we can control," helps shift the attention to problem solving. Sometimes, you might want to express more emotion, especially if you feel disappointed or frustrated. In that case, you can say, "That's such a shame," or "I really thought things would go differently." These phrases are natural and human. They allow you to express your feelings without sounding angry or unprofessional. There's also a very casual phrase that people use when they're ready to hear bad news: "Lay it on me." This means, "Go ahead, tell me the news, even if it's bad." It's informal and often used when someone expects the worst but wants to stay strong. For example, "Okay, I know you have bad news. Lay it on me." It's a phrase you'll hear in TV shows, movies, and even real office conversations. Reacting to bad news with calm, clear, and thoughtful language shows emotional intelligence and professionalism. Phrases like "that a lot to take in," "we'll get through this," "that's unfortunate," and "lay it on me" are the kinds of real English that people use to support each other, respond maturely, and keep the conversation respectful, even when the message is hard to hear. When bad news affects a group, like a workplace team, a business partnership, or a family, it's not just about delivering or receiving the message. It's also about what happens next. How do people talk about moving forward? How do they express plans, pressure, or responsibility after something goes wrong? That's what we're going to focus on today. The real English used for discussing consequences and next steps after difficult news. Let's begin with a phrase that often comes up after a setback. We need to regroup. This means the team needs to pause, meet again, and find a new plan. For example, things didn't go as planned. We need to regroup and figure out what's next. This phrase is commonly used in business, sports, and even family decisions. It communicates the idea that even though something went wrong, people are not giving up, they're reorganizing. Another common expression is we'll have to make some tough calls. The phrase tough call means a difficult decision. You might hear, it's a tough call, but we may need to cut our budget, or reducing hours was a tough call, but it had to be done. This phrase shows that the speaker didn't make the decision lightly, and it adds a sense of thoughtfulness and responsibility to the conversation. Sometimes, people use phrases like, this puts us in a difficult position. That means the news has made things harder, and the team or individual now has to deal with the consequences. A manager might say, the client pulling out puts us in a difficult position. We'll have to act fast. It's a respectful way to talk about challenges without pointing fingers. Let's also look at how people express pressure. You'll often hear the phrase, the pressure is on. This means it's a high-stakes moment and there's little room for mistakes. For example, we only have 2 weeks left. The pressure is on to deliver results. Another variation is, we're under pressure to cut costs. These expressions are realistic and very common in professional settings. Now, when someone takes responsibility, they might say, I'll take the lead on this, or leave it with me. I'll handle it. These phrases show leadership and willingness to act. On the other hand, if someone is assigning responsibility, they might say, you'll need to take point on this project. In business English, take point means to be in charge or lead the effort. Another helpful expression is, we have to contain the damage. This is often used when things have already gone wrong, and now the goal is to stop the situation from getting worse. For example, let's get ahead of this story before it spreads. Contain the damage while we still can. It's a phrase used in PR, management, and crisis communication. If someone wants to change direction after a setback, they might say, we need to pivot. The word pivot means to turn or shift strategy. For example, our original plan didn't work, so we need to pivot to something new. It's a very popular expression in business, especially when companies face unexpected changes. You might also hear the phrase, cut our losses. This means to stop doing something that isn't working and accept the loss before it gets worse. A company might say, this project is costing too much. We have to cut our losses and move on. This is about being practical, even when it's disappointing. Talking about what comes next after bad news is a big part of professional English. It's about being realistic, responsible, and solution-focused. Phrases like tough call, regroup, take point, contain the damage, and cut our losses help you sound like someone who's ready to handle difficult moments with clarity and calm. And that's a powerful skill, not just in language, but in life. Sometimes when bad news hits, emotions run high. People feel frustrated, betrayed, disappointed, or even angry. That's completely normal. But knowing how to express those emotions in English without making the situation worse is a powerful communication skill. In today's part, we'll focus on how people express frustration, disappointment, or shock in a way that's real, but still respectful and constructive. Let's begin with a very natural phrase. This is hard to believe. It shows surprise, but it's not aggressive. For example, the company is shutting down? That's hard to believe. You can also say, I didn't see this coming. That's another way to express shock or confusion without blaming anyone. When people are disappointed, a common phrase is, that's not what I expected. It's honest, calm, and helps keep the conversation open. You might also hear, I thought we were in a good place, or I really believe this would work out. These phrases show emotional honesty, but still allow for respectful dialogue. Now let's talk about expressing frustration. One common way to do that in English is with the phrase, "This is really frustrating." You can add more detail. "It feels like we're going in circles," or "no matter what we do, nothing seems to work." These are clear and real expressions, but they don't sound like a personal attack. That's important, especially in work environments where tone matters just as much as words. Another helpful phrase is, "We deserve better communication." This is a respectful way to say you're unhappy with how the news was shared. For example, "I understand things are changing, but we deserve better communication moving forward." This sentence expresses concern while still sounding professional. When people feel that they've been left out or ignored, they might say, "I wish we had been informed sooner," or "It would have helped to know this earlier." These phrases give feedback without turning the conversation into a conflict. They're especially helpful in meetings, feedback sessions, or group discussions. Sometimes people use expressions that show emotional weight, like, "It feels like a punch to the stomach," or "This is a tough pill to swallow." These are metaphors that describe the emotional impact of bad news. They're common in English, and they help listeners understand how serious or personal the situation feels. Another example is, "That hit me harder than I expected." It shows vulnerability and honesty, and it invites empathy from others. Let's also look at the phrase, "I'm trying to process this." This is something people say when they've just heard difficult news and need a moment to think. You might say, "Give me a minute. I'm still trying to process this." It's a healthy way to slow down the conversation and give yourself space to respond clearly. And here's a great way to express doubt or concern. "Are we sure this is the only option, or is there really no other way?" These kinds of questions help open up discussion without directly challenging the decision. They sound thoughtful rather than emotional, and they give others a chance to respond with more information. Even in very emotional moments, English offers ways to speak truthfully and respectfully. Whether it's "This is hard to believe," "We deserve better communication," "I'm trying to process this," or "This feels like a punch to the stomach," these expressions help you express strong feelings in a smart and effective way. They show that you can stay calm, speak clearly, and still be honest, even when the news is difficult. After bad news is delivered and the first reactions have settled, people often start to think about closure, support, and how to move forward. The language we use at this stage matters a lot. It can bring comfort, restore confidence, or simply help someone feel heard. Today, we're going to explore how English speakers offer support, express understanding, and help others deal with difficult changes in a healthy and respectful way. Let's start with a thoughtful phrase you might hear in conversations after a major disappointment. "I'm here if you need anything." It's simple but powerful. It tells the other person that they're not alone and that you're available. You can also say, "Let me know if there's anything I can do." These are great ways to show support without being too pushy or over-involved. Now, when someone is feeling uncertain or lost, another helpful phrase is, "Take your time." You might say, "Take your time to think it over," or "There's no rush. Let's figure this out together." These expressions create space for someone to breathe, process, and avoid pressure. When people are reflecting on what happened, they might say, "We did the best we could with the information we had." This phrase helps reduce feelings of guilt or regret. It's realistic and shows that even when the result wasn't perfect, the effort was there. You could also hear, "We made the best decision we could at the time." These are comforting, practical ways to accept what happened and let go of blame. Let's also look at how English speakers talk about learning from a bad experience. You might hear, "There's something to learn from this," or "This is tough, but it's teaching us something." These phrases shift the conversation from failure to growth. Another strong sentence is, "It didn't go the way we hoped, but we'll use this to get better." That kind of language turns loss into motivation. Sometimes, when things feel overwhelming, a phrase like "one step at a time" can bring calm. You can say, "We'll rebuild one step at a time," or "You don't have to fix everything today. Just take the next step." These are reassuring words that people often say in personal, professional, or emotional situations. If someone is blaming themselves, you can use language like, "This isn't all on you. or nobody could have predicted this. These phrases ease the emotional burden and help the person feel supported. It's also useful to say, "We're all in this together," which reminds everyone that they're part of a team and that the responsibility is shared. Another helpful phrase is "what's done is done." This is used to gently say, "We can't go back. We have to move forward now." It's often followed by something encouraging like, "Let's focus on what we can do next." And sometimes, when people feel low, what they really need to hear is simple reassurance. You can say, "You're stronger than you think," or "You've handled worse. You'll get through this too." These phrases are not just about comfort. They're about reminding people of their strength, even in difficult times. The way we speak after bad news can truly shape the future. When we say things like "take your time," "we did the best we could, one step at a time," and "you're not alone," we help others find stability, courage, and a path forward. These are not just English phrases. They're human tools for healing, and learning to use them makes you a more compassionate and confident communicator.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
The minimum return below which an enterprise becomes unprofitable.
Margin.
The entire amount of income before any deductions are made.
Revenue.
Having no money. Informal.
Broke.
The lowest possible level or absolute bottom.
Hit rock bottom.
Cause to rise rapidly and suddenly.
Skyrocket.
All the small details.
Gory details.
Tell me the bad news.
Lay it on me.
Drop down suddenly and quickly.
Plunge.
Very bad. Having bad results.
Disastrous.
Regarding. About.
In terms of.
Having too many things to sell.
To be overstocked.
Have too many employees.
Be overstaffed.
The amount of products you have to sell.
Inventory.
Remove or take away something that is annoying.
Get rid of.
Layoffs. Ending employment of staff for money reasons.
Redundancies.
Be responsible for the cost.
Shoulder the cost.
Rule.
Govern.
Used to express anger or annoyance.
For crying out loud.
Bankruptcy. Owing more money than you can pay.
Chapter 11.
The process of controlling the quality of production. Quality control.
Quality control. Let's try that faster.
Regarding. About.
In terms of.
Tell me the bad news.
Lay it on me.
Having too many things to sell.
To be overstocked.
Used to express anger or annoyance.
For crying out loud.
Rule.
Govern.
The amount of products you have to sell.
Inventory.
The process of controlling the quality of production. Quality control.
Quality control.
The entire amount of income before any deductions are made.
Revenue.
All the small details.
Gory details.
Layoffs, ending employment of staff for money reasons.
Redundancies.
Remove or take away something that is annoying.
Get rid of.
Cause to rise rapidly and suddenly.
Skyrocket.
Very bad, having bad results.
Disastrous.
Having no money, informal.
Broke.
Be responsible for the cost.
Shoulder the cost.
The lowest possible level or absolute bottom.
Hit rock bottom.
Bankruptcy, owing more money than you can pay.
Chapter 11.
Have too many employees.
Be overstaffed.
The minimum return below which an enterprise becomes unprofitable.
Margin.
Drop down suddenly and quickly.
Plunge. Now say the word and hear it in a sentence. Gory details. Without going too much into the gory details of the current economy, you should know that we expect business to slow down in the next few months. Gory details. Spare me the gory details. How are we going to survive this financial crisis? Gory details. Tell me all about your pregnancy, sparing me the gory details, of course. We need to protect the environment. Therefore, there will be new policies governing corporate levels of pollution starting next month. I don't agree with the regulations governing income taxes. People shouldn't have to give away their hard-earned money. The lack of regulations governing city transportation has led to many traffic accidents. Our insurance for a financial crisis expired 6 months ago, so we are going to have to shoulder the cost of this loss. We are going to have to shoulder the majority of the costs for this project. Many of our investors pulled out. You are going to have to shoulder the costs if you break that vase. For crying out loud. For crying out loud. When I tell you to have the report done by Wednesday, that means I expect it to be on my desk by the end of the day. For crying out loud.